welcome back to Fox and Friends. Well, Southern cuisine taking on a whole new meaning in one Kentucky city as Bowling Green, Kentucky officially becomes the largest Ozempic capital in the country. It's surprising many who assumed it would be Los Angeles or Miami or New York City. Here for your weekly RX is Fox News medical contributor, Dr. Nicole Saphier. So I didn't have that on my bingo card.
Well, actually, we kind of saw this during COVID. We saw that people in the South were having more severe outcomes with COVID, and it was largely attributed to the obesity population as well as the chronic illness that comes along with obesity. So it's really no surprise that we're seeing increased rates of these GLP-1 agonists down in the South, where we know we have more chronic illness. Unfortunately, what we see when it comes to these GLP-1 agonists like Wegovy and Ozempic and Mounjaro and the others is that 2/3 are actually using this medication for chronic illness, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and only 1/3 are using it for weight loss. But isn't that a little bit backwards? Shouldn't we be using these medications for weight loss more so we can prevent that chronic illness from starting? Patients who have obesity or overweight cost the country about 3 times more in healthcare bills every single year. So my mantra is always prevention. So we want to prevent these medical diseases.
It seems, I understand your rationale there, but I understand that the studies done on the rats, they got thyroid cancer. So, I mean, you could be taking it and then getting other negative side effects. And by the way, we're seeing as the rise of Ozempic usage goes up, we're hearing more about those side effects, stomach problems, digestive issues, on top of some of these other long-term effects.
Without a doubt, Rachel. But let me tell you right now, I am always prevention is key. And I would love to say we need to prevent people from being overweight and obese from the get-go. But as we stand right now, 50% of Americans are already obese. 20% of kids are already obese. So, yes, I want to see those lifestyle changes. These medications are coming with some risks, and we're seeing more and more side effects.
I wish we would figure out what's wrong with our food supply and
well, that's going to go to our next topic.
Before we always go to the pharmaceutical solution, which always ends up making people money and somehow making people sicker. But we can agree to disagree on that.
No. We actually agree on a lot more when it comes to that.
I know we do. Well, let's talk about this because there are artificial sweeteners. One is called erythritol, and they're saying that it could elevate heart disease risk. So what is erythritol for those who are listening and don't know what that is?
So erythritol is a plant alcohol. It's one of our sugar substitutes. You know, it's not from the sugar cane or the beetroot. It's something that, you know, it's been invented. People have been using it, especially as we see a rise in diabetes in our society.
So
and this is when you see like Diet Coke or any of those artificial sweeteners. Yes, stevia and some other companies do add erythritol to it. We have seen some evidence now and even a latest study that shows that there may be a correlation with people who use erythritol or take erythritol with clotting risk, meaning heart attacks and strokes. It's enough data at this point that makes me pause. I've never really been a fan of sugar substitutes. I don't even really cook with a lot of sugar in general. But for me, I like to use more natural ways to sweeten things like ginger, rosemary, maple syrup, pure maple syrup, and honey. Of course, if you're diabetic, you have to work with a nutritionist for your glycemic control. But I personally am not a fan of these artificial sweeteners. I'm sorry, Pete. I know you loved your Diet Mountain Dew, but I don't love it. We should try to get away from that. Just drink some water.
I'm with you on maple syrup and honey. The more natural, the better. Speaking of natural, the better. Your social media has a lot of great natural tips. I encourage people to go to it. I go to it to get some good tips on how to keep things natural and stay healthy.
Thanks so much.
You got it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.